Well, tell us about it, first of all.
Rish, morning. Well, the Asia Contemporary Art Show is it's pretty much a process of discovery. We bring a world of art to Hong Kong. You know, the contemporary art scene here in Hong Kong has been heavily dominated by Chinese contemporary probably over the last 30 years. So it's an opportunity for collectors and also buyers in Hong Kong to see artwork that they wouldn't typically see. 100 or so galleries. And one of the features of the show is we do encourage the participation of artists.
Yeah, I mean, you can meet the artists, that's the thing. So if you are buying something, you actually have the connection between, well, you know who did it.
Exactly, and, you know, for the collector and sort of for the more sort of passionate amongst the buyer community, you know, understanding the work and the context of the work, you know, is important to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, as an alternative or alternative investment here, it's very, very difficult. So what would be your tip to somebody who's seeking to make, well, contemporary art an investment choice?
Well, I think from my own experience, buy because you like it, number one. Number two, I think a critical factor is, you know, asking the right questions. Which are, of course? Well, asking the right questions about the artists, you know, how long have they been working, where have they been exhibiting, who collects their work, as an example. You know, there's a lot of fluff in this industry. So, you know, in order to make an informed buying decision, you really have to get in and ask some questions of either the gallery, who is obviously the salesman, or the artist, if he's present.
What are we talking about in terms of prices here, though?
Well, what we've done is we're in the mid-market, and what that really means is anywhere from 25,000 Hong Kong dollars up to 400,000 or 500,000 Hong Kong dollars, and that covers the range of artists who are younger in terms of...
Well, let's have a look at some of them, Mark, here. Let's look at Mother and Daughter, for instance. Now, this is a bit of work, $4,500 US dollars here. Yeah. Who's it by, and, well, why that price?
Yeah, this was an interesting artist from Vietnam, and it was a situation which we encountered at the last show. A visitor to the show walked into the organizer's office and said, "I've seen this artwork on the show website. My wife likes it. Where is it?"
And it's oil on canvas as well.
And it was a connection that we made for them.
Andy Warhol, there we go. This is a screen print here, isn't it? I think it's yeah, screen print. Yeah. 24,500 US. So you got the other side.
Yes. So you're moving a little bit more up the scale, and definitely, even though it's a small edition screen print, it does represent an investment class work.
Sentiment is by Chinese artists, I think.
Yeah, Qu Shanzhen. He is established. You know, what makes him interesting is, like a number of artists that grew up formative years during the Cultural Revolution, and that's very much reflected through the character of his work. And visually, the traditions of China, but also the influence, or the growing influence, of women in China.
I do like this one here, but it is reflected in the price, nearly 160,000 US dollars, and it's the Shamed Face one by the Chapman brothers.
Yeah, Chapman brothers are two artists, two British artists, actually, and it's an interesting work in that it was originally, the base of the work is actually a Victorian portrait, which they, in 2007, did a series of works where they defaced the work and created it in a contemporary context, but an interesting image.